Boxing Voice.
BoxingVoice.com here with trainer of Chris Algieri, Keith Trimble. Keith, a lot of build up for this fight, but people just are not buying into the hype. You know, he fits the bill. He looks like the kid that we could all believe in. He's handsome, green eyes. He's white, which helps. Tall, good boxer. But we've seen this so many times before with Pacquiao and Mayweather opponents. How is he different from the rest?
His mental toughness, to be honest. I think a lot of guys sometimes are just happy to be and get to that the championship fight. You know, be in the ring and say they were there, collect a payday, and go home. To be honest with you, as much as it is important, you know, you want to go home with that belt. The most important thing is that Chris walks out of there 21-0. And he really believes in himself. A lot of people will talk the talk and they get in there, but I think they just really truly don't believe in themselves. They're just happy to get to that point fighting for a world title. Chris truly believes in himself.
Now, for the build-up of this fight, you've been getting a lot of accolades. I mean, both from Tim Lane and Chris Algieri. They're basically saying it's all deserved. I mean, it's all owed to you, the work that you put in with Chris. Are you willing and ready to take that blame if the fight goes the opposite way of what you guys believe in?
Of course. But, I mean, it's a team effort. I don't take all the credit. I mean, there's three of us. And we've been working together for the last, I've been with Chris from kickboxing back 10, 11 years ago. And when we decided, Tim Lane, myself, and Chris, to go to boxing, we were the only three that believed in Chris, you know. Chris didn't have any amateur background in boxing. We used to go into gyms. People would be like, what do you do? You're a kickboxer, you're a world champion kickboxer, and pretty much laugh about it. Until a round or two into his sparring, they'd be like, oh shit, where'd you do your gloves? Did you do the gloves? You know, what was your amateur career? There is no amateur career. You know, Chris truly is one of the hardest working people, and, you know, and it's shown throughout his career.
Now, before this fight, there was no 24/7. There was no all access. People didn't know that he traveled around the world in different training camps with world-class fighters, getting sparring and soaking in that tutelage that not only you were giving, but he was taking from other trainers that are world-renowned trainers as well. So could you just speak a little bit about that to the people that may not know Chris? Because again, you know, he's just coming up. We have to admit, he just arrived. So people need to know the things that you know.
Yeah, well, basically, you know, again, it's all about Chris at the end of the day. As you were saying, they were saying whatever about taking credit, whatever. That's not about me. I'm about helping Chris Algieri achieve his goals. And so far, we've done that. When he came out and said, you know, I have the opportunity to go to Robert Garcia's out in Oxnard for 3 weeks, I said, go for it, man. You know, I'm not going to hold you back. You're the fighter. This is what you choose. You know, you're with me for 5 or 6 weeks. He went out there for 3 weeks, came home for the last 2 for his fights. And the biggest thing was the sparring. You know, you're out there. I mean, how am I going to tell my guy, no, I don't want you sparring with Maidana Rios, or, you know, he got to spar Maidana and stuff. It's an experience that is only going to benefit him in the long run. And each time he went out there, I would go out there for the last week, and we'd fly back home. So, you know, I'm open. I'm not one of these guys that has an ego. I'm quiet, as that's why many people don't even know, really, me training him, I guess. I'm somebody that's real quiet. I got a lot of fighters. I got a heavyweight prospect and Adam Koznaski. I got 5 guys in the UFC. So I do boxing and mixed martial arts. But I'm under the radar, I guess, as they could say. So, but I'm all about my fighters. Whatever's going to help them achieve their goals, I'm in.
Now, with this being the biggest fight of his career, along with that comes the biggest purse of his career, does that mean that now you, as the trainer, can call in for legitimate sparring where he doesn't have to leave his location or state of training camp to get better sparring? Now you can bring in guys, and if you plan to do that, do you have a list or at least a few names in mind in which you would use for sparring for this fight to kind of mimic Pacquiao's style?
Well, I don't think you can really mimic Pacquiao's style, but we do have some guys. as far as when Chris would fight left-handed fighters, we have a guy that I train, Mike Lefty Brooks. He's 11-2 as a lightweight. We've sparred many times with Louis Collazo, so we bring him in. And but right now, you know, with Chris's eye from the damage that he took from his previous fight, he's still got to lay off a little bit of the sparring. So right now, it's all basics down to technique, just getting in shape. And then when he goes out to Vegas, he'll be sparring out in Vegas.
I'm sorry, but I got to question the Collazo thing. I mean, I know you used him in the past, but how could he possibly help you for this Pacquiao fight when his speed cannot be compared to Pacquiao, his power cannot be compared, and we basically seen him, and I love the guy. I interview him regularly, but we basically seen him unravel versus Khan, you know, fight with his hands down. It's kind of something you want to keep your fighter away from.
Yeah, I mean, he always gave good work, though. He's always in shape. And, again, being that he's a southpaw, I mean, it's not – I don't even know who you can really fight to mimic Pacquiao, especially in New York. But, you know, if that's who's available, that's who's available. It's work. You know, at the end of the day, we know that Pacquiao's a tricky fighter. You know, he could box, and then he could explode on you and come from all different angles. Not many people do that. So, you know, we're going to work on more. Like I said, most of his sparring is going to be coming out in Vegas because of the injury to the eye. He's got to lay off for another couple weeks. So Tim Lane has been working on getting people out there. And, you know, he's going to have a great camp. And at the end of the night, November 22nd, he's going to be the winner.
You keep mentioning the injury. How serious was it that he can't spar now? I mean, that was a few months back.
Well, he had some fractures in the eye, and you know, it had time to heal. No surgery, nothing like that. And but he's been training already, so it is what it is. He's going to have plenty of time, plenty of sparring.
Well, Keith, do you have any social media or something that you want to include in this interview? Because we will be doing an article as well, so all the readers and listeners and followers can definitely follow you if they want to get closer to you, because you're dealing in two sports, both boxing and MMA. You just never know.
Facebook is Belmore Kickboxing Academy, and then I just have an Instagram, which is Keith_Trimble.
All right, well, thank you very much. TheBoxingVoice.com definitely appreciates your time.
All right, thank you.
The Boxing Voice.